Oh, Peroty is here.
Someone's got to teach you how Discord works.
Yeah. I don't know how to talk to the bears.
They just want picnic baskets. That's all they want. Just hand them a picnic basket and everything will be fine.
Who sounds bad, T-Rex? Be specific. God damn it. You just say it mother. Well, I'm not. Well, it came to my internet. My dropped frames are at 0, so it's got to be something else.
You sound fine on Discord.
Yeah.
Like, you both sound perfectly fine to me.
Yeah.
You cut out when you get loud because whatever your setup is, mute your mic when you start screaming. But besides that, everything else is fine.
I mean, so says the specialist.
Tech Guy, there's nothing Tech Guy can do because Tech Guy, his equipment is telling me everything's working fine. You guys are the people that are saying something's wrong. I've got 0 dropped frames. Every time I talk, my mic is picking me up. My mic is maxed out. You know, my equipment that I have on hand is telling me I'm fine.
And what is Twitch telling you? Your OBS or whatever?
That's what I'm saying. 0 dropped frames, maximum volume, 100% stability. You know, it's all fine.
Allegedly.
Well, yeah, of course, allegedly. But
we'll get 30 minutes into this and you'll go, oh, it was this button over here that says, make my quality garbage.
Oh, make my quality garbage.
I've played this game before. I know how this goes. We'll get like 30, 45 minutes in, and you'll be like, oh, there was this thing over here. Oh, there's this setting.
The only thing I can think of is it performed an update when I opened it up. Maybe something's going on with the update, you know?
We changed something. By the way, here's a breaking change that we told you about, but surprise.
Probably. But as far as the tools I'm given, all my tools say that I'm fine. Now, I can increase my own. If I'm quiet, then I can probably increase myself. So Mike.
Yeah, there's a 0% chance that's going to happen.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast. Dedicated in bringing you all the latest information, news, and opinions. This is the best show for new and veteran Guardians alike, where we share tips, tricks, and tools to help you succeed and enjoy playing even more. So with all that said, let me hand you over to your hosts, the Triumph Hunting Titan Nitedemon, the pink-panted pansy Peroty, and your Hunter Master Rager, Mr. No One Respawns in Real Life!
Oh, wow, I'm way louder now. Holy crap.
All right. Well, this train wreck of a show is Two Titans and a Hunter, and as advertised on the tin, we have 2 Titans and a Hunter. Because I am Peroty, I am a Titan. Micah's over there somewhere in the corner, he's also a Titan. And then there's Respawn, who is a Hunter. That has not done a very good job rallying his people to victory this week, or the last week. Not that I can say I contributed to this week at all. Week 1 I helped. Week 2, I have helped nobody do anything.
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, but the Titans have rallied, and that's the important part, because if the Titans are winning, then Respawn is sad, and that just warms my little Titan heart just a little bit.
I'm not, though, because I called this. Well,
yeah, I mean, who didn't?
I knew this is exactly what was going to happen. There's no surprise here, you know?
How did you know this was going to happen?
Because
how are you
Zavala. Not Zavala, because Zavala's voice actor.
Because the Hunters have never gotten themselves together to win a competition.
Not true. When the loot is worth it, we do. But, you know, there's nothing we get for winning.
So my question therein lies, did the Hunters rally to win the Guardian games when Kay took it in the butt?
No.
Yeah, we won the first one. No. We lost the first one because Bungie said they had to nerf Hunter numbers to make everything, quote, equal. Whatever they said, they weren't going to... The second one comes around, and Bungie says, we're not doing anything to the numbers, and then Hunters won. And then the third one comes around, and like, well, Hunters won 1, Warlocks won 1. I'm sorry, Titans won 1, so now it's the Warlocks' turn to win. So they won the third.
So they killed Cade and said, you guys can't win Guardian games because guess what? Your leader's gone. Your numbers and your stats have been nerfed for this season.
Yep.
But then they gave you the statue and everything. They gave you a statue and a chicken. Was that not?
Like
was that not
5 years later?
Statues take a long time. You have to commission it. You have to put a public call out for sculptors.
So Kate died during the year of the Titans, right? So that's from the Titans to the Hunters. That's 1 year. From the Hunters to the Warlocks, that's the second year. From the Warlocks to this year, that's the third year. So 3 years it took them to give us, a small statue and a chicken. And it's not even the Colonel. And the Colonel's still over by the caves area. This isn't even the Colonel. This is some random chicken.
Hold on. You got the Colonel and chicken?
Yep.
Dude. It must be bad for his health.
Indeed.
I hear chicken eats chicken. But anyway, getting back to the subject.
Chicken in China, the Chinese chicken. Have a drumstick and the brain stop sticking. Watch your next fives with the lights on, without a maze on. I forgot the rest of that song.
But it rhymed, so there you go.
Yeah, I guess that's good enough. Okay, Peroty, keep going.
Oh, well, there's a next week in Destiny that 19 will drop in here, and he'll tell us what we should be farming for next week and what beautiful things are, and whatever verse is going to sell to us, and, all the emotes we need to buy.
Hello, and welcome to the 12th week of Season 20, Season of Defiance, starting on May 16th, 2023. So for week 12, let's have a look at our legacy rotation, starting with the Forsaken expansion.
Ready if you are. Let's see what's out there.
The Dreaming City this week is at a medium curse level, which means Petrovenge can be found in the Devillian Mists, and has the Oracle Engine mission for the next week. The Blind Well features Hive enemies and the Plague Kroigar. The Ascendant challenge this week will be the Chimera Garrison, which can be located over in the Chamber of Starlight Lost sector on the Dreaming City. Next up, the Shadowkeep expansion. On the Moon, the weekly story mission is a mysterious disturbance. The Trove Guardian is located in the Anchor of Light, and the Wandering Nightmare is the Nightmare of Hawkis, also in the Anchor of Light. And the Nightmare hunts this week will be Skolas, Pride, Fanatic, Insanity, and Omnigul, Anguish. For our Beyond Light expansion, on Europa this week, Phylax the Warrior will be the Empire Hunt, Asterian's Abyss will be the Eclipse Zone, and the Exo Challenge will be Agility. For the 30th anniversary expansion, we have the loot rotation for Dares of Eternity, which will be on week 4's rotation with the Scatterhorn armor set and the Pathfinder armor set being available. The weapons available this week will be the Stasis Precision Frame Shotgun Factothis, the Solar High Impact Frame Auto Rifle Krajua Milo, the Stasis Precision Frame Hand Cannon Volpicula, the Arc Precision Frame Bow Wolftone Draw, the Solar High Impact Frame Fusion Rifle Iotona Draconis, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Canis Major, the Arc Vice Rapid Fire Frame Scout Rifle Contingency Plan, the Kinetic High Impact Frame Pulse Rifle Legal Action 2, the Solar Rapid Fire Frame Heavy Grenade Launcher Outrageous Fortune, the Void Adaptive Frame Sword Steel Syllabus C14, and the Kinetic Lightweight Frame Sidearm Spoiler Alert. For the Witch Queen expansion, the Witch Queen weekly story mission is The Last Chance, where the modifier is Martyr, as well as Barrier and Unstoppable Champions. Also this week you will have Altar of Reflection Catalyst and Altar of Reflection Insight. The Wellspring activity has been updated to include a featured Throne World weapon, Veritas armor, and a weapon pattern as its rewards. For the Lightfall expansion, the weekly mission is Downfall, with extra shields, locked loadouts, and extra champions, Barrier and Unstoppable Champions, Solar Threat, Scorched Earth, Kinetic Overcharge, Void and Solar Surges with an overcharged weapon and galvanized on hero difficulty only. The partition mission will be Ordnance, contest mode enabled, with Overload and Unstoppable Champions, Solar Threat, Void and Strand Shields, Air Superiority modifier with Solar and Strand Surges. And the Vex incursion this week will be Amish Park. In addition, the weekly Lightfall reset also refreshes the Pinnacle drop for the Node Override Avalon exotic mission on the EDZ. Raids and Dungeons. The Root of Nightmares raid challenge this week is the 4th encounter, Nezarec, called All Hands. Each player in your fire team must trigger one node on each side before the damage phase begins. The Vow the Disciple challenge this week is the 1st encounter, Acquisition, called Swift Destruction, where Guardians must kill all champions within a few seconds of each other on all rounds. The Vault of Glass challenge this week is the first encounter, Confluxes, called, wait for it, where every yellow by wyvern must be killed as they sacrifice themselves to the Confluxes. The Deepstone Crypt challenge this week is the third encounter, Tanix Part 1, called Of All Trades. Guardians must perform each role at least once, Operator, Scanner and Suppressor. The Garden of Salvation challenge this week is the first encounter, Embrace, called To the Top. This is where you must not kill the Cyclops that spawns near the Consecrated Mind. And the Last Wish challenge this week is the fifth encounter, Riven, called Strength of Memory, where Guardians must not shoot the same Riven eye twice. Your pinnacle raid will be Kingsfall over in the Legends tab, which means all challenges will be available for each encounter. These are the first encounter, Totems, called The Grass is Always Greener. Players cannot take the same brand type twice in a row. The second encounter, War Priest, called Devious Thievery. Players must steal the brand of the initiate within a couple of seconds of taking the brand claimer's buff. The third encounter, Golgoroth, called Gaze Amaze. The gaze holder must stand in the pool of unclaimed light when swapping the gaze. The fourth encounter, Daughters of Oryx, called Under Construction. Players cannot stand on the same plate twice in a single phase. And the fifth encounter, Oryx, called Hands Off. Players must not kill the same Ogre or Light Eater Knight throughout the encounter. Also, with the Kingsfall being the featured raid, this does mean that you can farm the final boss for a chance at the exotic scout rifle, Touch of Malice. And the pinnacle dungeon for this week will be the Grasp of Avarice over on the Cosmodrome. Next up, challenges. We have now had all 76 challenges over the first 10 weeks of the season. So, as a reminder, if you complete 72 out of the 76, you can get a large pile of Bright Dust to spend at the Eververse store in-game. Here's a few that you might have missed that you might want to get completed in the next week. Pinnacle. Reach power level 1810 by earning Pinnacle rewards for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Trial by Firing Squad. Win multiple rounds in Trials of Osiris for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust, and a Trials weapon. Fleeting Glory. Complete Crucible matches in the competitive playlist. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Dredging Up Victory. Complete Gambit matches. Earn bonus progress for wins for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Darkest Nightfall. Complete any Nightfall on Hero difficulty or higher for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust, and a Nightfall weapon. Commendation Appreciation. Earn progress for giving 10 commendations in Vanguard, Crucible and Gambit activities for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Lost in Legend. Complete a Lost Sector on Legend or Master for Challenge XP+ and Bright Dust. Acquire the Crucible ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. Acquire the Gambit ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And acquire the Vanguard ornament for the Ecliptic Distaff for Challenge XP+++ and Bright Dust. And speaking of Bright Dust, we have our final Eververse of the season for the week of May 16th, 2023. Available this week for Bright Dust, we have the Torchlight exotic emote for 3,250 Bright Dust, the Triple Bogey exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust, the Contender's Entrance legendary Transmat effect for 450 Bright Dust, the Photo Finish legendary shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Vibrant Medusa legendary shader for 300 Bright Dust, the Gladiator Blows exotic multiplayer emote for 4,250 Bright Dust, the Powerlift legendary emote for 700 Bright Dust, the Tug of War Shell exotic Ghost Shell for 2,850 Bright Dust, the Pistol Pose exotic Sparrow for 2,500 Bright Dust, the Victory's Herald exotic Ship for 2,000 Bright Dust, the Triumph exotic Weapon ornament for the exotic Heavy Machine Gun Heir Apparent for 1,250 Bright Dust, and finally the Trophy Projection legendary Ghost Projection for 1,500 Bright Dust.
Hello!
As a reminder, your daily lost sector will show you a flag outside, which will give you details of threats, shields, champions and exotic armour you will find inside. But if you're new to the game or you're using an alternate character and can't find the flag outside, you will have to run through the lost sector normally to have it show up on your map as a legend/master, which you can either do solo or with a fire team, but you will only be able to earn a chance at the exotic drop when completing solo. Tuesday, May 16th will be the Thrilladrome on Neptune for exotic helmets, Void Threat, Void and Strand Surges with Void and Arc Elemental Shields, Overcharged Grenade Launcher with Barrier and Overload Champions. Wednesday, May 17th will be the Hydroponics Delta on Neptune for exotic boots, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with no elemental shields, Overcharged Rocket Launcher with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Thursday, May 18th will be the Gilded Preset on Neptune for exotic gauntlets, Arc Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void and Solar elemental shields, Overcharged Glaives with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Friday, May 19th will be the Excavation Site 12 on the EDZ for exotic chests, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Arc elemental shields, Overcharged Swords with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Saturday, May 20th will be the Skydock 4 on the EDZ for exotic helmets, Solar Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void elemental shields, Overcharged Shotgun with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. Sunday, May 21st will be the Quarry on the EDZ for exotic boots, Void Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void and Solar elemental shields, Overcharged Grenade Launcher with Barrier and Unstoppable champions. And finally, background to Monday, May 22nd will be the Aphelios Rest on the Dreaming City for exotic gauntlets, Stasis Threat, Solar and Strand Surges with Void elemental shields, Overcharged Shotgun with Unstoppable and Overload champions.
Lead the way.
The final week of the Grandmaster Nightfalls are here, which means if you already have your Conqueror Seal, you will be able to select whichever Grandmaster Nightfall you want in any order to gild your title. And with that, our 12th and final featured Nightfall will see us face off against Grask in the Lake of Shadows over on the EDZ, where you have a chance to get a Pinnacle Engram if you complete the Nightfall with a score of 200k or more. This Nightfall is free to play. You will be able to earn high-end gear for your characters, including the Nightfall featured weapon, exotic gear, enhancement cores, enhancement prisms, and ascendant shards. The higher the Nightfall difficulty, the more common the drop will be, with the featured weapon and exotic gear being uncommon at hero difficulty to being common with ascendant shards in Grandmasters. Legend and lower Nightfalls will have 5 Unstoppable and 5 Overload champions, with 5 Solar, 2 Void and 1 Arc shields. Masters will have 9 Unstoppable and 10 Overload, with 13 Solar, 6 Void and 5 Arc shields. Your Nightfall modifiers are hero difficulty, maximum effective level 1765, matchmaking is available, enemies have extra shields, champions foe, you will face Unstoppable and Overload champions, you can either use intrinsic exotics, use a subclass debuff, or unlock anti-champion mods from this seasonal artifact. Void elemental threat, 25% increase to void incoming damage. Overcharge weapons, weapons overcharged from the seasonal artifact are active in this activity. Kinetic weapons do increased damage when your subclass element matches an active surge. An elemental surge, 25% bonus to outgoing elemental damage. Strand surge, 25% bonus to outgoing strand damage. Overcharged weapon, 25% bonus damage to a specific weapon. Galvanized, combatants have more health and are more difficult to stun. Legend difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. No matchmaking. Denial, taken Vandals have more shields. Epitaph, taken enemies drop Blight Geysers on death. Equipment locked, you will be unable to change your equipment once the mission starts. Master difficulty, maximum effective level 1820, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Champions mob, this difficulty adds more champion enemies. Togetherness, base health regen is reduced. If near another player, health regen is increased. Grandmaster difficulty, maximum effective level 1815, includes all previous modifiers except Galvanized. Joining progress disabled. Extinguish, if your fighting falls in a restricted zone, your team is returned to orbit. Limited revives, gain additional revives by defeating champions, up to a maximum of 20. Contest mode, which caps your power level to make enemies more of a challenge. And Chafe, radar is disabled. To combat champions this season, you have access to subclass counters as well as a choice of intrinsic anti-champion artifact mods, which are Unstoppable Scout Rifle, Overload Bow, Overload Submachine Gun and Auto Rifle, and Medieval Champion, where glaives fire projectiles that stun Unstoppable champions, swords stun Overload champions on consecutive hits. You also have exotic weapons and armour that can help with intrinsic mods as well. For Unstoppable, the Kinetic Fusion Rifle Bastion, the Kinetic Hand Cannon Malfeasance, the Solar Energy Sidearm Devil's Ruin, the Void Heavy Bow Leviathan's Breath, and the Hunter Gauntlets Atheris's Embrace, which have a chance to stun Unstoppable champions with their empowered weighted knife. And for Overload, the Void Energy Bow Le Monarch, the Arc Energy Linear Trace Rifle Divinity, the Arc Heavy Machine Gun Thunderlord, and the Warlock Exotic Boots the Secant Filaments, which when you drop an Empowering Rift, any weapon that is fired from inside the well can cause an Overload champion to be stunned. The final Nightfall featured weapon to obtain will be the Swarm. The Swarm is a high impact frame heavy machine gun with a base impact of 70, range of 69 and stability of 33. It can roll with Vorpal, tap the trigger and Zen Moment, with dynamic sway reduction, killing wind and one for all. It has the origin trait of Stunning Recovery, where if you stun a champion you partially refill the magazine, trigger health regen and improves your recovery for a short duration. And Vanguard Vindication, where final blows with the weapon grant a small amount of health. This will be the final week of the Guardian Games for 2023. Titans, Warlocks and Hunters will have one more week to battle it out and fight for glory across multiple game modes to find out who is the ultimate class. And available for one final week will be the Crucible mode for Guardian Games, Supremacy, with the option to matchmake by class. When launching this version of Supremacy, you can matchmake into a team comprised only by your class. So if you're a Hunter, you and 5 other Hunters will face a team of Warlocks or Titans. Every Guardian that falls will leave a class-based crest behind, and collecting those is the key to win each match, no matter if they were dropped by a defeated enemy or by a fallen comrade. Focus on recovering the crest to earn points and defeat the opposing classes. There is also a Supremacy quest and 4 torches in the Tower to Light. Guardian Games also brings with it some featured weapons like the 750 RPM aggressive frame submachine gun, the Title. The Title has a base impact of 22, range of 40 and stability of 20. It can roll with Repulsor Brace, Rangefinder and Vorpal, with Offhand Strike, Dynamic Sway Reduction and Threat Detector. And this year's featured Guardian Games weapon to obtain is the Strand Lightweight Frame Scout Rifle, Thraxipos. The Thraxipos has a base impact of 60, range of 30 and stability of 42. It can roll with Cascade Point, Hatchling and Kill Clip, with Offhand Strike, Zen Moment and Moving Target. Both weapons come with the origin trait of Classy Contender, where final blows grant class ability energy. So defend the honour of your class in the Guardian Games, deposit medallions at the podium and light those torches to earn your rewards. And Lord Shaxx brings Clash to the Relentless Crucible playlist for the 12th and final week of the season. Clash is a 6v6 PvP mode where level advantages are disabled. Points are gained through scoring kills against the opposing team. Players are not penalised for low map control and can bunker down together or fan out as they see fit. Strength in numbers is paramount as a lone player can be picked off very quickly by a team shooting enemies. Heavy ammo can swing the balance of a match, so controlling the box can be the key to winning. Super usage both offensively and defensively is one way to break the deadlock.
Delightful!
And this will be the last weekend of Trials of Osiris before the new season. So don't forget to collect all of your items from Saint 14's reward track and engrams. Plus, this will be your last chance to grab the kinetic lightweight frame bow, Whistler's Whim, and Arc pinpoint slug frame shotgun, the Inquisitor. As a reminder, Trials of Osiris is a 3v3 PvP high stakes variant of Elimination. Only available from Friday reset until Tuesday weekly reset, Trials gives every player the chance to show off their PvP skills to obtain some of Destiny's most sought after weapons and armour. Players that compete in the Trials of Osiris will have all of their games tracked to a passage card, a ticket purchased from Saint 14 in the lower hangar of the tower. Winning rounds and matches in Trials will grant exclusive weapons, armour, pinnacle gear, masterwork material and even adept gear for the most skilled players who can reach the lighthouse with a flawless ticket of 7 games won and no losses. 5 round wins will bag you that match for your passage card. By competing in Trials, you do have a chance to pick up 2 pinnacle engrams from playing each week, one from 50 round wins and the other from winning 7 games. These do not have to be done all in one go, but you do have to complete them before the weekly reset.
That is amazing.
As this is the final week of the season, we will be seeing the return of double XP across all playlists: Vanguard, Gambit and Crucible. So if you need that extra boost to get your rank reset, or Ecliptic Distaff Glaive, Aegon Spindle Ornament, Vermeil Spindle Ornament and Virescent Spindle Ornament, then this will be your last chance to do that. Also, with this being the final week of the season, don't forget to collect all of your Season of Defiance Pass items, any items left over from the Season of the Ceres Season Pass from Bungie.net, plus your reward track items and engrams from Banshee 44, Gunsmith, Shaxx, Crucible, Zavala, Vanguard, Drifter, Gambit, and Saint 14 Trials before the end of the season, as they will reset and you will lose all of your items when the new season starts. And that's it for the final week of Season of Defiance. See you in the deep, Guardians. Alonzi.
Guardian down.
And it'll be the third week of Guardian games, which Respawn I know is super interested in not participating in either.
Woo!
3 weeks of this?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it happens every year like that. It's weird.
But we are getting increased everything rep next week at least. So Crucible, Vanguard, and the one that no one talks about.
So is it 4 weeks of it?
No. 3. No, this starting Tuesday will be the third week, and third week of Guardian games, and they'll also increase your rep rank in all 3 playlist activities. So if you're trying to finish, if you care, or trying to finish those tracks out, or get your ornaments, or trying to finish to get the exotic at the end or something, you'll have an increased rank on all 3 things. Or you'll be off playing Star Wars and go, yeah, whatever. The next season starts in 2 weeks, so who cares about this week?
Is there another Star Wars game coming out?
Already came
it's
out.
already out.
Huh?
Yeah, it's doing poorly.
All right, fair enough. So
Not because of the game, though, unfortunately. Well, technically because of the game.
Okay. So
that's not what we talk about.
So, did you know, Peroty, that in season 21, that's next season, this upcoming season,
that I knew,
we will be rolling out the first wave of changes to exotic armor intended to rebalance and re-image many armor pieces at both ends of the usage spectrum.
So all the things that everyone's saying they're going to nerf these, just wait, got nerfed, and all the ones that no one has ever used because they're garbage might be less garbage?
I didn't.
That is possibly the case.
That is exactly what's going to happen. And you know what? I have some details on this too as soon as I bring it back up. Okay.
So you're saying that they're going to try to identify the underused armor pieces and revamp them to increase their appeal and make them sexier, and then tune down the outliers ones that everyone's like, must use this, that every single build has worked around the entire year and possibly for their entire lifetime?
Yes.
But also, indeed, in exception to that, they're also going to take up stuff that's right in the middle ground or stuff that still gets used pretty often and then just make it, holy crap, what the heck have you done?
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if that's a what have you done good or what have you done bad, but either way, mission accomplished.
Both sides. It is every end of the spectrum. I tell you, there are multiple genders in this universe. I mean, it's Bungie, for God's sakes.
Speaking of which, we wanted to curb a few instances of damage stacking that circumvented the expectations introduced in Lightfall, partially to bring damage into an expected range, but also to alleviate the pressure to use certain combinations of exotics and mods to reach optimal damage output. In these cases, we hope that this reduces the desire to run surge mods on your leg armor, allowing your exotic to cover that ground and freeing you up to use other mods in those sockets. That'd be nice. Because I really prefer the healing mods on my legs instead of the surge mods. You know what I mean? With those goals in mind, here are the changes that we are making. Dun, dun, dun. We're going to start with Hunter. Because Bungie did.
We like to laugh at you.
So, we're going to start with the sealed Ahamkara grasps. Not to be confused with the ones that buff the trip mines. That's a different Ahamkara, okay?
Those are the unsealed ones.
This exotic will now reload the magazine of all your weapons when you defeat a target with your powered melee. And for 5 seconds after dealing melee damage, you gain increased movement speed and jump height. Arthur's Embrace. Gain additional strength while the exotic weighted knife damage bonus is active. What? I have to check, but I'm pretty sure you can only activate the weighted knife buff when you have a knife. And if you have a knife, having extra strength doesn't do anything. And once you throw the knife, you burn the buff and can't get the buff back until you have the knife again. So what's the point of extra strength?
No, when you throw it, I think it gives you extra strength after you do damage. Is that what it said?
No, it says as long as you have the buff active. So when you activate the buff, you got about 20-ish seconds to throw your knife to do that extra damage. So while that buff is active, you get extra strength. So extra strength is what? It reloads it reduces the cooldown on your melee, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is as soon as you throw that knife, that buff goes away. And you can't get the buff back no matter how many times you try to reactivate it until you have a knife to throw again. So the buff, your extra strength buff, is only good as long as you already have a powered knife.
Wait, so that's how it works, so it only happens when you have the knife?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. You want it to work when you don't have the knife, that way you get the recharge energy. You know what I mean? This doesn't make any sense to me. Why?
But you only get it by connecting on the melee, though.
No, as soon as you throw the knife, the buff is gone.
No. I thought you only get the buff by connecting with the knife, by making the knife hit something.
No, you get the buff by landing multiple crit hits, right?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, remember I told you got to charge the knife, right, in order for it to do that extra damage? Well, you do that by using your primary, by using a weapon to land, depending on the weapon, 1 to 5 crits, right? And that'll give you that buff.
I'm thinking it's going to happen with that. They're actually going to just make it a straight timer where you get those buffs for a certain period of time, and after that, bam, it goes away.
If that's the case, that does make sense. But if the buff works as it does now, as soon as you throw the knife, you lose the buff.
What is the rest of the perk? Because they say at the top of this, like, basically the changes are what they're changing. If they don't specifically lay it out, the rest of whatever the exotic does stays the same. So what else does that exotic do?
Okay.
Is there something else there that will answer this question?
Well,
I don't have one, so I can't look at one.
I just laid out the majority of the buff, but let me check the entire exotic. Give me a second. I might have missed a thing. Okay.
I mean, I'm not saying it is. I don't know. So
here we go.
Don't know and don't have.
Weighted knife gains a second bounce. Rapid precision hits with your weapons grant weighted knife a significant damage bonus and the ability to stun unshielded combatants for a short time. That's the buff. Okay. Empowered weighted knife is strong against unstoppable champions. Weighted throwing knife gains a second bounce with greatly increased tracking, scoring 3 precision hits within 2.5 seconds of each, grants a strengthened throwing knife for 10 seconds. Oh, it's only 10 seconds. That was 20. Additional precision hits increase the buff duration by 5 seconds each. Oh, that's why. Up to 30 seconds. Okay. Strengthened throwing knife deals 200% damage in PvE and 100% damage in PvP. Increased damage and stuns unstoppable champions. Buff is consumed on knife hit.
You see, Peroty? It sounds like this is what happens when you're angry all the time. You just take everything to be something to be mad at.
Yeah. But you see that as soon as the knife hits, you lose the buff. Buff is consumed.
Additional buff duration by 5 seconds up to 30 seconds. So you can already have a 30-second duration going now, and they're saying they're going to increase it?
No.
Additional strength. Right, but they're giving you additional strength, which reloads your melee. And if you've got a buff going for 30 seconds, some of that with additional strength, thus additional melee regen, you'll get your knife back faster.
Only if I'm reading this correctly, it says buff is consumed. You hear that? Consumed on knife hit, which means buff goes away.
Yes. Which means while you don't have your knife, you shoot the person, you get the buff, remember?
Oh, if you don't have the knife, you can't have the buff, period.
So how long is the damage bonus active?
Well, this is what I think the workaround is, because it says on knife hit, it's consumed. So if I whiff, maybe I get to keep the buff, right? And if I get to keep the buff after whiffing my knife throw, then that extra 25 strength would make sense as far as recharging my knife back.
But isn't this that knife that, literally tracks you around corners and behind walls and across the whole map?
Well, it used to, except another change they're making to this ability, which we'll cover later, reduces that overall tracking, Micah, so you can stop whining about it. There you go.
No. It reduces that one's overall tracking, not the weighted knife's, auto aim by itself.
Where else are they making changes? Because this is all there is for Arthur's Embrace. Is there another thing?
It's the ability itself is getting a debuff. Not exotic debuff. The ability itself.
Where?
It's a good question, but it's there. I read it. It's not going to be in the exotics. It's going to be in the ability changes. I
Okay,
did.
so Soldier 76's throwing knife is getting a slight, buff to one of his exotics. Cool.
Yeah.
Slightly different reward.
Yeah,
cool.
But overall tracking is reduced. Yes. Okay, so Oathkeeper. Oathkeeper used to be the go-to for hunters.
That up.
Huh? Well, I told y'all don't believe me. I told you it's buff.
It's not that we don't believe you; it's that we don't care.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's I mean,
let's go ahead and get to the ones that you don't care about, and then so we can get to the one we can laugh at you about.
Mm-hmm. Well, Oathkeeper used to be really, really good in PvP and PvE because you can just hold a fully drawn bow indefinitely, and you're going to get the buff that whatever that bow is going to give you gives you. Right?
Yeah. Thank God
they get that away. So what happens now is when fully no, they didn't fix it. When fully drawn, bow gains a bonus to damage. So now we get a damage bonus that increases as you hold the draw, but deactivates after a few seconds. The original redesign allowed you to retain the damage bonus as long as you held the bow at full draw, which can be done indefinitely thanks to the existing exotic functionality. However, this resulted in some overly passive playstyles where players felt like the optimal way to play was to move slowly at full draw or hide behind cover indefinitely before popping out to shoot with a limited window on the damage bonus. Both still benefit from a significant bump in damage from holding the draw for a short time without bogging down the play experience.
Bungie doesn't want you to hide in the corner in PvP. They never have and they never will.
They want you to have skill. A little bit of skill applied. There you go.
I have a feeling this is a direct result of the Le Monarch in PvP.
Well, it isn't just punches with Lemon Arc and PvP though, so it's a lot of everything in there.
Raij's Harness. When deactivating your Arc Super manually, you create a blinding explosion that temporarily increases your Arc weapon damage. However, blocking with Whirlwind Guard would no longer consume energy more slowly. So Whirlwind Guard goes back to its insane energy consumption if you're trying to block things. But if you manually stop your super, you get a big AoE arc explosion that buffs your weapons. Congratulations.
Well,
Radiant Dance Machines.
Good, thank God.
I think they're going to fight against.
That thing needed to be done, dude. Like that was because that crap was stupid.
Radiant Dance Machines. Kills while your free dodge is active. Extend the duration of free dodging. No longer deactivates when you get too far away from enemies. It does deactivate after using a suspending slam, however. Adding the time extension on kills allows this pair to pair extremely well with Marksman's Dodge, the Reaper Armor mod, and the new powerful attraction mod that allows you to collect orbs of power at a distance. During playtesting, players can have free dodges for long stretches, pulling down a large number of orbs. However, allowing it to continue granting free suspending slams made it a little too easy to create an infinite orb-generating machine without ever having to risk your own survival. I mean, I'm okay with that. I like infinite orbs.
Too much radiant, not enough dancing.
Stompies! The Stompies! I know my hunters out there have mixed feelings about this, right?
Let me get the popcorn.
Mm-hmm. So I will address the Stompy wearing elephant in the room. Bungie claims to have given us a buff by taking away the nerf that they gave us, which is kind of not a buff. You just should never have given us a negative 50 on aerial accuracy to begin with. Whatever. But they're actually like taking it away. It's all like, oh, look, we gave you a buff. There's no more in-air accuracy penalty. Well, Bungie, but you shouldn't have done it to begin with, okay? But in addition to removing the penalty that should have never been there, now your speed, slide distance, and improved jump is only effective as long as you have a dodge charged. Let me say that again. Your increased speed, slide distance, and improved jumping is only available when you have full dodge energy. So as soon as you dodge, Stompies are completely inert and don't do a damn thing. Huzzah. Congratulations.
The kids.
Uh-huh. So, we want Stompies to have a strong fantasy. Yeah, okay. But permanent uptime for potent movement abilities that make targeting hunters in PvP very difficult on controller ends up making it too automatic of a choice. Even with the prior airborne effectiveness changes, we are undoing that change, but tackling the uptime to try to make it so you can use it to ambush or escape from an engagement, but not both. So the ambush I get, but escaping, it's not going to be used for escaping because most of the time when a hunter escapes, he starts with the dodge to break off combat. And as soon as that hunter dodges, the Stompies are useless. So I don't get this whole escaping from combat situation. They're only going to be used good for ambushes, and that's it, really. So Mask of Bacchus. Here we go. This is a Titan weird-looking helmet.
That's
Change
not.
to use.
That's no, it's not.
Oh no, that's the hunter. Why is the Titan picture there?
Because the Titan is next.
Oh, I see.
You're still in the hunter section. I mean, if you guys want to give me a Mask of Bacchus so I can go invisible as a Titan, I'm game.
Mm-hmm.
You can even make it look like that. That'd be fine.
It'll add 10 seconds to your recharge too, though. So keep that in mind.
Fine. I'm getting the same hit, so go for it.
Change to use a tier 4 non-stacking weapon damage bonus, which behaves the same as the non-stacking damage bonuses provided by Surge mobs. Damage bonus increase in PvE from 10% to 25%, and now grants a 6% bonus weapon damage in PvP. However, it no longer stacks with Surge leg armor mods, but it does provide a larger bonus that can be achieved with 3 such mods equipped. So what they're telling you is that when you dodge for 10 seconds, you have more weapon damage than having 3 stacks of weapon surge mods. Cool. That's
and this is Mask of Bacchus. What does Mask of Bacchus normally do? What's his normal function?
Bacchus, 100 dodges, they go completely invisible and invulnerable. And at the end of it, for 10 seconds, their arc weapons did an additional 10% damage. Now it's doing 25% damage. And it also gave buffs if you were shooting enemies that were frozen or slowed.
Okay, so it was the ice. Wait, huh?
Yep.
So it was an ice mask, the ice exotic?
No, you can use it with any subclass.
Hunter Blink with increased damage when you become visible again.
Yep.
Let me blink and hit you real hard when I become visible.
Mm-hmm. So Titan point of contact and it's actually really, really good. When hunters use that, they usually have the either the Cold Heart or the Divinity, because both of those hit like a truck after the hunter dodges. But now we're gonna jump into Titans, and we will let our Titans explain this. And Mike has got many opinions on these changes.
Just a few.
So tell me what you think about the point contact cannon brace, where your lightning strikes now jolt targets, increasing the PvE damage per lightning bolt from 50 to 200, and being amplified now increases the damage of the lightning strike by 50% instead of increasing their range. So the ones that were super strong, they nerfed the crap out of, and now they're like, maybe we'll make them useful again?
Yeah. I mean, they didn't nerf them out. They literally just took them away and never released them, and then gave us, a fantasy like, hey, don't worry, they're coming back, and then gave us really nothing. Yeah. So literally no one used that exotic. But now it will be usable.
So what is this?
The exotic.
Heard of it? Like, is this arms, legs? What is this?
It's arms.
Arms. So they released about the time they did the Arc 3.0 rework. And they came out of the gate really hot, like, we're just going to let you use that charge punch to nuke the entire world. And they were like, that's a little bit too strong of a punchy fantasy for the punchy class. So we're going to take those away from you and make you all not punch things anymore. And they nerfed them to the point of there's no reason to use them because they provide you absolutely nothing else.
Gotcha.
And not just in one game mode, in all game modes. Literally, no one used one. It literally had no usage whatsoever.
Yeah, it basically made the thunderclap. They were like, "Yeah, you can use the thunderclap melee." No, you can't. There was no reason.
It looks like it's going to be
The
good.
thunderclap by itself is good enough, and then you could literally pair like a syntheseps with it, and make it even better. Why would you want to use? There was literally no reason to use that exotic. Like the Thunder Strike only did 50 damage. It would not even kill a dreg. It wouldn't do anything. So it was just completely worthless exotic. Completely worthless. So now I am quite curious, because this may make the point cannon contact. It might make it, amazing. And here's possibly why. When you think about the arc tethering damage or whatever, jolting, it has different multipliers of how much those ticks do. So I'm very curious of what a fully charged jolting tick damage will be doing. If it's up there or past the level of a rocket launcher, because it's an exotic, then that may be a serious big time play where you can proc a massive jolt anytime you want. So that it'll probably be really, really interesting in PvE, sorry. PvP still useless.
Does it increase in damage the longer you charge it, or is it just like
that's the actual melee itself? The exotic only gives you an added bonus of calling down lightning, and I think it doesn't recharge if you get a kill.
Recharges your melee. Yeah. Today, it defeating targets with thunderclap restores your melee energy. Targets near you suffer lightning strikes. Being amplified increases the range of the lightning strikes.
Yeah, but it didn't refund the whole melee though. It only gave you a little bit. It gave you so depending on
restores melee energy, like gives you a little tiny bit, like, oh, here's a little bit that I feel like stacked when you kill things. So thunderclap kills 9% on a tier 1 miner, and if you kill a boss with it, you'll get up to 50% of your melee back. So yeah, it scales based on what you killed with the melee.
What the heck is going to trying to kill a boss? Like,
I don't know. Somebody
like, it's a freaking boss.
Someone did the math out there, yeah. But basically, yeah. But even if you're killing like a tier 4 leader mini boss, 40%. So yeah, and then in PvP you got 15% of your melee back. So something, but yeah, it's not like it's giving you anything incredible.
Yeah. So okay. So the recharge is just like, it's just a little something there. All right, cool. Yeah. But I think it stacks. If you kill multiple people, you get even more energy back.
That's what it looks like. I mean, the Light GG just says, refunds the melee energy based on enemy rank, and I assume, if you kill 3 things, it'll. I'm sure if you kill 2 tier 1 miners, it doesn't go from 9 to 18, but probably goes from 9 to 15. I'm sure there's some multiplier that Bungie uses.
Here's what that actually will change things up, because once you add the jolt to it, jolt hits in such a huge radius. Basically, they're replacing the thunder that it used to call down with jolt. So that way, you're also getting the thunder drop down, which will do some damage. But the jolting is what's going to be doing all the killing, mostly, especially in PvE. So when you do that, you will probably be refunding your entire melee with the jolt added to it, because jolt's really good. So that may become meta.
PvE might be used. Yeah, PvE. And that 200% damage to start with, pair that with like an Ikelos with jolt shot, or pair with something with jolt shot, keep that jolt going. I mean, it might be good ad clear, or some level of damage for mini bosses or something. You're not wiping. It's not the next raid strat, but at least it might make it useful somewhere. Clear room in a dungeon, let's jolt everything.
Okay, let's just because I don't want to stay on it too long, but no, just think about it like this. If you have a big boss with a bunch of enemies around, you charge that melee fully up and you hit the person, you give them the highest, potentially maybe one of the highest jolting procs in the game. As you're shooting that boss, you're killing all the enemies around him, and every kill of that jolt should be counted from your melee, refilling your melee energy for you to apply another heavy hitting punch and jolt onto the target. So if it does work like that, and is jolt one of the verbs that messes with Champions.
Yes, it is.
Which champion?
Unstoppable and Overload, I think.
Okay. I think Unstoppable was blinding, so it might be Overload. Yeah, because that actually makes sense. Jolt and Overload. So, yeah, that would actually be really freaking nasty, honestly. So, yeah, Mechanic might get some real usage. I think that shows a lot of promise.
Yeah. Good PvE promise. And then you've got people who are going to stand around corners in PvP and, wind that shot up and hit you with it if they can.
Oh, no, they're going to be still using what's it called? They're going to be using the mask that refunds your entire melee on kill. They're going to use that 100%.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but no, I'm just saying there'll be that one guy that you'll run around the corner and get hit by that thunderclap and go, what? Why? Why are you like this?
That'll
There's
be
only
Mike.
One guy out there.
That would definitely be Mike and be like, I wonder how good this is.
I've never done it because I don't like standing around corners. I like getting up in your face, not sitting back waiting for you.
Yeah.
I'm not patient enough for it, so it never worked for me.
Ditto. Speaking of standing around corners, the No Backup Plans is getting a complete rework. They're just scrapping the entire old functionality, and now it's going to provide a moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness and reload speed of your shotguns. And while you have a Void Overshield, shotguns deal additional damage, and shotgun final blows refresh your Overshield. So while you're using a Void subclass, rapid shotgun final blows or defeating a powerful enemy with a shotgun grants you a Void Overshield and kicks off your health regeneration.
So it doesn't chew up your melee anymore?
Nope. So yeah, so this is the one where they're just scrapping what whatever it did before. They're whereas everything else is like, oh, we're changing this. They're just like, that was garbage. We're going to scrap the entire thing, and now it's basically going to give you all the Void Overshield as long as you keep getting shotgun kills. Yeah. So before
you have to use Void subclass.
Right. Yeah. Basically, you still need to use Void. So today, when you have a full Void melee, your shotgun final blows will give you the Overshield and consume your melee energy. Your final blows will also give you melee energy today and provide a moderate benefit to airborne effectiveness. So today is about melee and shotgunning in Season 21. Shotgun, Void Overshield, shotgun, Void Overshield, shotgun, Void Overshield.
And you don't have to worry about your melee because you can just go around just constantly keep the whole uptime on your Overshield. Mm-hmm. And still have your melee in your back pocket if you really want it or need it.
Yep.
And there's also the mod that gives you an Overshield when you win a battle at low health, which when you're shotgunning, you generally always are. So that's going to be a double Overshield. So you're going to have two Overshields stacked on top of each other. So potentially really, really tanky boy there. And then you put on top of that Barricade Overshield, it might be I might play that. It might be some really, really tanky stuff and shenanigans going on in PvP.
With your health regeneration going, with throw your wall down, get some more regeneration going. So yeah, survivability. Just leaning, like I may put these things on for the first time ever. Like leaning way into, you can walk up to something in PvE, shotgun it, and move on with your day, and just rinse and repeat.
Uh-huh. And then on top of that, melees can start health regeneration. Yeah. Oh, it's going to be interesting.
And then stick one of those like repulsor brace shotguns on to strap detonators to everybody's chests.
So that sounds like a good time. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
I disagree.
No, it'll be a good time.
You can still jump in the air. It's okay.
No one runs. They're just gonna slide. And honestly, people are still gonna murder you in PvP with shotguns. So I mean, no real change there.
Yeah, basically, it just makes it where they can do it to multiple people consistently.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to make a lot of plays.
So just run double primary, and then they won't have any green ammo to keep shooting you with. That's it. Starve them bit by bit. Well, don't worry, because now it's time for a second chance, where your shield throw melee now weakens enemies, and stunning barrier champions with your shield now grants you a single full melee charge. That's
move on. Nothing to see here. Nothing to see here.
No, not at all. So basically, they're adding the verbs. It gives you weaken, because right now it just gives you the second shield throw, which becomes a piercing shield. So it's okay. So they are changing it. Oh, actually, no. So it stuns barrier champions today. So it'll still stun. Guardian? It'll still stun barrier champion. I mean, it will, but like not. It's still a shield throw melee. It's not doing enough damage for anyone to care.
Yeah.
Like this is not a PvP play at all.
Yeah.
It gives you a second. Give you a second melee for your shield throw, which does not enough damage for anyone to care about. I mean, it might be nice for the piercing. You stun a barrier shield to get your shield back again.
Shield doesn't do enough damage for anyone to care about. Did you just say that?
A thrown shield in PvP, yeah.
You're thinking about the super. This is not the super. This is the shield throw melee.
Exactly.
Oh,
yes.
Okay.
This is the I don't want the shoulder charge. I just want to check a shield.
So many goddamn times. I was gonna get heated.
Yeah. Yes. No. The super. Yes. Absolutely. And when you have the super on, I think you can, at least today, you can just spam shield throws with that super on, and just sit back and go, pew, 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 I am Captain America with infinite shields.
Yeah, you cannot. With that exotic on, you can't just throw infinite
charge time, but it's not infinite.
Okay. Yeah, well, not infinite, but
I'm sorry. Sentinel shield. We're not going to get into that content in PvP, but that super still needs some love. They messed up the tracking on that shield throw. Even though, it can. If it hits one person, then it will.
If it chooses to.
Yeah.
But I was looking on MyGG just to see if it had how much damage it does, and they're just like, we're not even going to tell you because it's not even worth.
Yeah, it's going to get you.
The same place I read about the Hunter knife getting a decrease in tracking, the Titan shield, I don't know if it's a super or the melee, I don't know, but your shield is buff in tracking. So
the melee, they're both melee.
Well, good, because it doesn't do anything now. It bounces off walls and says, well, I hit one person with it, and now it's going off into the distance where all those Nova bombs have ended up over time.
Yeah. My brothers were. Yep. So they're just buffing the melee. So that's all. And it's kind of like, maybe people will play with it. People who like to be passive Titans, but there's only like 15 people.
Mm-hmm. They're the ones sitting in the corner waiting to thunderclap you.
Yeah. Or the one sitting in the corner with a lemon arc.
Or the warlock, flying off stage thinking that he's, unique and cool and nobody's ever thought about this before.
I just want to say, honestly, a Titan who's running around in PvP with a bow is not a Titan.
I've seen it, because if you're behind your shield...
I've seen it many times. I'm just saying, those aren't Titans. They're not real Titans.
I'm asking you, do you get a damage for hiding behind your half shield?
No.
The half shield does nothing at all. Like as far as
weapon damage, I thought it was like a 10% buff or something.
No, it gives you increased handling and reload for guns, not bows.
Okay, never mind.
Yeah, and you're still getting shot right in the face, so it's not like it's going to give you anything.
Or shot in the back of the head.
Yeah, either way.
Well, if you get shot in the back of the head, it sounds like a personal problem. It sounds like a you problem.
No, when you're behind the shield, the back of your head is slightly exposed. Like on the half shield, he turns to the side and the back of his head is exposed, and people can still hit you. They just have to aim a little harder.
Good!
Yeah, I know. That's why nobody uses it. Except for in generation spam. But anyway, on to the next doc.
We made Respawn happy, so, we've done something. Yeah, so the Stronghold. So we're back to, so the Stronghold is, arms. Replacing healing from blocking shots precisely with significant damage reduction, 50%, 50 in PvE, 10% in PvP, while blocking with a sword. So when you stop blocking...
Explain people what this exotic even is, because even most Titans don't even know what this exotic is.
Oh, yeah, this I've used exactly once, because there was a cheese you could do. It basically, if you have a sword... So today, it maximizes your guard stats on equipped swords, and sword... Shots blocked immediately after guarding will heal you. Also gives you increased resilience. So you could basically be super tanky if you were guarding with a sword.
You can hold that shield indefinitely without decreasing sword energy. That's a huge thing. You just kind of glance right over, dude.
Yeah.
Can you still do it indefinitely? Because I thought. Can you still do it indefinitely? Because I thought they fixed that. Because that was the cheese I was doing in a dungeon at one point, where you could just stand and hold that shield, and it was like you had a banner shield and couldn't be stopped. I haven't used it in forever, so because why would you?
But I think you still do. I think it's still indefinite.
Yeah, just because you're an untargetable, undamageable, unkillable person doesn't mean that that's something. Unless you're with a team, that's not something really worth doing.
Right? Yeah.
Right. The shield doesn't prevent damage; it just reduces incoming damage. So you're not unkillable. You're very hard to kill, sure. But you can still die, especially like from raid bosses and whatnot. You're still going to get smacked.
No, when you're
Yeah.
stomping, the shield, I think is not equivalent, but it's similar to glaives.
Yeah, how the shield works, yes. Yeah, it reduces damage. It doesn't negate it entirely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
Yeah.
exotic no one uses will probably still have very few people using it.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's something. You'll get your damage reduction, and then while you're blocking, when you stop blocking, you'll gain restoration ×2 with a duration that increases based on the number of shots you block. So you could sit there
it gives you
and
restoration ×2 when you stop blocking?
yes, when you stop blocking. So it'll give you the 50 or 10% damage reduction while you block, 50 in PvE, 50, or 10 in PvP. But when you stop blocking, you get your restoration ×2. So then you can do your damage with the sword with that restoration going. And the duration of that restoration depends on how many shots you block. So you block a whole bunch of shots, and they don't say, of course, how long the restoration can build to, but you can have call it 10 seconds or 15 seconds of restoration ×2 if you block a bunch of shots.
Okay, so here's my thought on that. That would be instant.
The one that's got the chainsaw on it.
I know that's what I was about to say. That would be instant greatness with that exotic.
Mm-hmm.
But my only pushback to that is, would it be better to use that, or would it be better just to go ahead and use Lordly Splendor Helm?
Yeah.
Well, Lordly only gives you restoration 1 now, right?
Yeah, but it also gives you the fire, and it stays forever.
Wait. It only
Yeah, it
gives
gives
you
it over time.
restoration 1, and it drops the fire, which means you have to stand in that spot. Whereas the sword gives you restoration ×2, and you're not limited to standing in that one spot.
Here's the thing. They're buffing the duration of that fire because you don't have to stay in the fire. You get the buff, and it lasts for a certain period of time every time you pass through the fire.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Yes.
It's my class.
Yes, you pass through the fire. You get the buff for the duration of it's whatever the sunspots do. I'm trying to remember what the sunspots do to the it basically drops a sunspot. You walk through the sunspot. It gives you the buff for walking through that sunspot.
If you stand in it, then you just maintain that buff and whatnot and extra healing. I think you have a little bit extra healing while you're standing in it, and it just doesn't go away. The timer doesn't decrease.
Yeah,
I knew something happened if you were standing in it, like you got some kind of a thing.
Yes. Yeah. So so on Titan, with the Soul Invictus aspect, so your solar ability, final blows, hammer, soul impacts, etc., create sunspots. Your abilities regenerate faster, and your super drains more slowly while you're standing in a sunspot. Your sunspots will also apply scorch damage and deal damage to targets. Blah blah blah. And then entering a sunspot applies restoration. So you can sort of dance in and out of that sunspot to get that restoration and restart that timer again. So I don't know. It's still it's one of those it could be useful, but I mean, again, they're making it so at least you might look at it versus why would I ever touch this exotic?
Yeah. I mean, maybe the potentially the increased guarding damage blocked or whatever is going to be super, super good or relevant in GMs, and the restoration 2 would definitely make it into alternative to Lordly Splendor because you lose your barricade when it happens, and as long as you have some ammo, you can guard. And it doesn't consume ammo does it consume ammo when you guard with that sword? The chainsaw sword?
It didn't. No.
I'm pretty sure they all consume. Well, I'm not.
No, it
sure
doesn't consume ammo. It consumes
swords.
sword energy.
Okay, which you need to do more damage, so it doesn't. You don't lose ammo from it. Okay,
right.
So,
but with the Titans, with your gauntlets, you don't decrease the sword energy. You can maintain it, or that's how it used to be. But at the very least, you can hold it much, much, much longer than we can.
But that sword just allows you to just chain that damage. I mean, you want to guard because it boosts your damage when you do guard. So sword energy or not, it boosts your damage.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It may be a play with that, maybe not. But I don't know if it's such a big change to say, "Ooh, I won't use Lordly Splendor instead." But you could use other classes, so that's the benefit. You could use art classes with that setup. You could use void classes with that setup. Get overshields and restoration potentially, maybe. But
yeah. I mean, that's what Bungie says. The original heal on perfect guard mechanic was swapped out for damage reduction to improve ease of use. Previous version required guarding, incentivized rapid blocking, releasing the block the most effectively, which for the unintuitive for most players and inaccessible to others. Restoration after you stop blocking allows you to close the melee range against a powerful enemy and stay alive while delivering attacks thanks to the restoration. Conveniently, this also pairs very well with certain exotic swords, such as the Lament. So they definitely had that in mind of, you can guard, unleash damage, and be able to get out of that encounter alive.
Yeah.
At least in theory.
So, sword users rejoice while glaive users still cry in a corner somewhere.
Mm-hmm. That seems right. Speaking of...
Glaive is still good, you psychopath. Stop hating on glaives.
Good versus godly.
It's just a stick. Just like a stone helmet. So the picture Respawn saw earlier of the Eternal Warrior confuses everyone because it's a stone exotic helmet that does nothing and never has done anything. What will it do in Season 21? Well, rapid takedowns with arc weapons grants an escalating bonus to arc weapon damage. Using the same non-stacking damage bonuses used by the Surge mods. So this can go all the way up to a Tier 4 damage bonus, granting damage bonuses of 25% in PvE, and ready Respawn? 6% in PvP.
Woo!
Providing a larger damage bonus you can get by equipping 3 Surge mods, and then while the Tier 4 damage bonus arc kills refresh the bonus's duration, and after your Fist of Havoc super ends, which no one's going to use, you get a Tier 4 damage bonus. Has Bungie said anywhere what these tier damage bonuses are? Or are they just bringing these out going, this is a Tier 4 bonus, what's Tier 4? Oh, how many tiers are there? Can't tell you.
Well, if it only gives you 6%, then I imagine like each damage bonus is only 1.5% in PvP. So 1.5, 1 kill, 3 points, and 2 kills, then 4.5 and 3 kills. But who's going to go around and kill? Well, maybe you can.
Well, that's the thing though. But like a Tier 4 in PvE gives you 25%. So it's like just is there a Tier 5 and does it give me 33%? Like Bungie, if you're going to give me tiers, you have to give me some context on what the tiers mean.
No, they don't.
At least they told us it's 25% in PvE and 6 in PvP. At least they gave us some numbers versus being like, it will do significant damage. How significant? Can't tell you.
I think what they've done is basically made it into like the arc version of the Burning Steps and brought the Burning Steps down as well. But I think that's basically what it is. Does it still give you the overshield when you're in your super?
I guess because they didn't say it doesn't, so I assume.
Okay.
So right now it gains an overshield while activating your Fist of Havoc. That's all it does today. That's it.
Okay. So they're adding damage buff to it so that way it can be usable.
Yeah, I mean it sounds sort of like, or also like a with Insurmountable Skull Fort you can run around and melee things and then get your melee back on kills. It sounds like if you just want to shoot people with arc weapons, the version of that, I can just run around and rapid takedown with my arc weapons again, grab my Thunderclap, grab my Jolt Shot, jolt a bunch of things, do more damage as I kill things. So that power fantasy of I want to shoot things, get my Risk Runner out and go to town and just increase the damage of my Risk Runner all day, every day.
Interesting.
So I'm hearing Nitedemon over there in the distant corner think, ooh, a Risk Runner and do more damage with a Risk Runner? I still don't know this will be good enough to use against anything else, but again, makes it maybe something you might glance at, maybe?
Now you look at it. Now you'll look at it.
Yeah. You won't just say, what a stupid looking helmet. You'll be like, oh, a stupid looking helmet that actually has a perk that might be useful.
Actually, what you'll do is you won't be saying, ooh, shards. You'll be saying, shards.
Yeah, shards. Oh, this has all of our description now. Still shards. All right, so our next one is a really in-depth change. It's going to take a lot of description. So Kepri's Horn, the ugliest helmet in all of the land. Your solar damage wave now scorches targets. So when you run Strand and you put this on and you send both the strands out to suspend people and the wave of fire, it will also scorch them.
If it don't make them explode, then who cares? Those scorch stacks better be an instant explosion. That's all I'm saying. If it is, that will be a very fun exotic to use.
Yep. But you know it's not going to be. So It'll still be a silly meme build.
Scorch stacks, maybe. I'm just saying. If the scorch stacks are significant, it will be an absolutely fun exotic to use. Because it'd be better than the melee that you have to slide and jump in the air and then slam down.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully,
the desecration or whatever it's called.
I love that
Respawn's
one.
favorite one.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if that is strong enough to cause, because you're going to get hit twice by the scorch, by the wave. So if it's strong enough to cause an explosion, then yeah, look out for that. Which they might not do because with Strand it would probably be completely busted. But hopefully with the additional scorch stacks, it can.
Yeah, I'd like to think it'll come out hot and be good, but I'm not optimistic.
It's an old one, so nah.
Yeah, Path of the Burning Steps. They've changed it to use the non-stacking weapon bonus surge mods. Blah blah blah. Basically, they give it the exact same perks that the Eternal Warrior does. With you can get up to tier 4, same 25 and 6 bonus increases. Solar kills refresh the duration. Becoming encased immediately grants you a tier 4 bonus or tier 4 damage bonus. So
but be aware, it's actually a nerf to the exotic because it gave you a higher damage bonus prior.
Yeah. So why do I have 2 exotics that now do the same thing that are in 2 different slots?
One is for Arc, one is for Solar.
I guess.
Build crafting, yay!
Yeah.
It's for
now
Solar.
Now I can have a stupid hat versus a stupid leg. Bungie. I understand that you see the Titans and every super you're just like, how can we punch people in different ways? But it's a little insulting to have 2 identical reworks of an exotic. Like, could you not copy and paste one to the other? Like really?
You know what would have been nice if they took that interaction that you never see with Path of Burning Steps of you getting frozen and breaking out and you sending out a fire wave. If they just made that somehow a part of the normal, rotation of that exotic, like you get, say, 3 kills or a multi-kill or something like that, and then it just procs that explosion. That would be nice. Or you get so many kills, it builds up a bar, and then you pop it to get that explosion. That would be nice. Because you literally never see that secondary effect. Because you never say, oh, dang, somebody's running stasis. Let me hurry up and switch to Path of Burning Steps so that way I can, not get frozen. So, I don't know. It'd be nice.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's literally the same thing. So after your Fist of Havoc ends, you get a tier 4 damage bonus with the Eternal Warrior, or if you become encased, it immediately grants you a tier 4 damage bonus. Like you said, it's the same thing. One for Arc, one for Solar.
I was going to say, it's for Solar though. Yeah.
But why, Bungie? Why? Like this is not the play. But I mean, I guess it's something. It's
definitely something. So it's not going to make you look at it any more than you already do. But yeah, it's something because it already did that, but now it does it less. But anyway, next exotic.
Yeah. And then we're gonna Dune March, or rather, we're not gonna Dune March because they reduced the range of the chain damage from 20 meters to 12, and the PvP damage from 85 to 50. And their commentary basically boils down to this has been super powerful and broken for a long time, so of course we're gonna nerf it. This exotic sees a lot of PvP use and not much PvE. Yeah, we know. And this change is to embrace that, aka nerf the crap out of it. The range on the damage chain made it very easy to get killed by this exotic without ever seeing the person who killed you in PvP. So we've reduced the range and tuned down the damage. Yeah, the number of times kills have been gotten around corners, chained off dead bodies by somebody in the next block over.
This is no longer a thing. So, I mean, now it's the walkers now.
Exactly. That's the nerf that we all saw coming like a million miles away. Like, of course, they're going to do it just like they're going to touch one of these Warlock exotics that, of course, they are.
I'm going to say my bit on that once we get to the Warlock exotics or before we get to those. But
well, guess where we are. Down
What
your
I
throat,
got it.
Alex.
Yay.
So let me go ahead and unload now because I don't think I was on the podcast when I said this, or was I? You remind me. But
No,
when
you were in the car
True
yesterday, and I
Vanguard,
kept telling you to shut up and save it for the podcast.
when True Vanguard did his whole little bit about what we need to do to nerf Titans and didn't say anything about his main class Warlocks, I was like, you know what? Karma's going to come back on you, and they're going to hit your class just as hard because you're calling for nerfs. You need to shut up, let people have fun, and enjoy the game, and stop making posts about what they should do to nerf something. Because they did exactly what he requested. Literally did exactly what he requested. And then they went and nerfed his class as well. So you know what? Suck it, True Vanguard. Be quiet with that mess. Don't do it. Just let it be.
Insert disclaimer here. Two Titans and a Hunter podcast in no way, shape, or form shares the the opinions or viewpoints of Micah.
I'm saying I love TV, but I was just saying, like, dude, he took a step too far in what he was saying, and now he's gonna have people literally all over his comments talking about it because they did exactly what he requested.
So this is the same thing that happened to what's his face, right?
Careful what you wish for.
Okay, what was his name?
The other
guy. Thank you. Yes, Salta Greppo.
Mm-hmm. Well, yep. So Respawn, do you want to tell us what they're doing to your beloved Warlocks?
Sure, I can do that. All right, so for the Warlocks, we're going to start with the Vesper Radius. Your rifts emit an arc shockwave every 5 seconds that deals 200 PvE damage and 70 PvP damage. Enemies defeated by these shockwaves explode for an additional 100 damage, and if you have an arc subclass equipped, they also blind. So this is your healing rift, this is your empowering rift, this is your rifts in general, right? So this is nuts. You have a rift that not only will either A, heal you, or B, give you a damage buff, but also sends out shockwaves that just delete everything in the nearby vicinity. Get out of here.
Yeah, it's pretty busted. Honestly, it's gonna be the play for a while in a lot of.
I mean, it is every 5 seconds though, right? So, an encounter in PvP rarely lasts more than 5 seconds, right? But that first burst where it does an extra 70 damage, that's gonna take a chunk off the top right there. You know what I mean? But daggone.
Oh, I didn't even think about or even say anything about PvP. So, how much is it doing in PvP?
70 damage off the top.
So it's basically a pulse nade on your rift.
Yep, sure is.
Because I think pulse nade does 80.
Yeah, but pulse nade is also every second. This is every 5 seconds.
When you need to get that res in the Nightfall, and you want to blind the people near you, and give yourself some breathing room.
Yo, for real though, like for real, chromatic fire. Increase the radius and the damage of the explosion created by precision kinetic takedowns. The explosion also applies a status to targets damaged by it, depending on which subclass you have equipped. Chromatic fire blinds, scorches, slows, severs, and weakens depending on your subclass. Dawn Chorus. That's actually really strong. Chromatic fire. That's really strong.
Maybe useful.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, that's going to be very useful. You can weaken with a primary weapon.
And not only that, like you can use your subclass to determine, like okay, you need to blind champs, boom, arc. You need to sever, boom, strand. You need to weaken, boom, void. Right. So yeah. Now Dawn Chorus is also getting touched. Daybreak's projectiles damage bonus has been increased and is no longer reliant on the enemy being scorched. That is just a straight up buff.
Yeah.
We have
nobody uses it, so that's another one that. Have you ever seen it? No, because no one's ever touched it.
Oh, dude, I've used it. I've used it a lot before they nerfed Jotun. Because Jotun would have big fire explosion, it worked really well with that.
Sanguine Alchemy, is also getting a change. If you stand in a rift, while standing in a rift, non-stacking bonuses to weapon damage matching your subclass damage type. This damage bonus is equivalent of 2 Surge Leg mods, aka 17% damage bonus in PvE and 4.5% damage bonus in PvP. So, yeah. There you go.
So if you and your Vesper Radius buddy stand in a rift together, you can blind people, hit them every 5 seconds with a bunch of damage, and then do even more damage.
Sure can. Claws of Ahimkara. I wonder if the Sanguine Alchemy Warlock pops an Empowering Rift, if that will increase the damage of the other Warlock's Rift pulses.
I don't think it affects the rift damage, but I'm not Warlock enough to know.
Claws of Ahimkara. Powered melee kills create noble power. Cool. When heavy-handed mods are equipped, this increases the potency of the orb spawned. Cool. No more than 1 orb can be spawned per enemy takedown. Cool. Dev community, this exotic uses the same perk as heavy-handed and stacks with the mod should you choose to equip it. Hey. Mantle of Battle Harmony. Weapon bonus damage changed to tier 4 when super is fully charged. Whoa. Hold on. So as long as you have a charged super, your weapons do 25% extra damage. So increasing damage bonus in PvE from 20% to 25% damage, and reducing the damage bonus from 15 to 6% in PvP. Ew. No longer stacks with Surge Leg armor mods, but provides a larger bonus than can be achieved with 3 such mods equipped. Damage bonus only applies to weapons that match your subclass damage type, and now stacks with Empowering Rift and other similar damage bonuses. Extended base duration of this bonus 6 seconds to 10 seconds in PvE and 3 seconds to 5 seconds in PvP. Interesting. And now we're on to the...
According to Vanguard, that's actually a nerf. Based upon...
Well, yeah, I mean, they went from 15% to 6% in PvP, you know? And even if you add the Rift, the Rift only adds another 6%. So you have the Rift added to that, so you're still only at 12% when it used to be at 15%, you know?
And then on top of this, also now conditional, because you used to get that damage buff without any particular condition. Now you have to have your super.
Yep.
Yeah, it's
straight up just matching your stompies, but you have to have your super in order to use them.
Pretty sure super takes a little bit longer to get back than a dodge.
What Titan exotic that basically like recharged your solar abilities fast if you had a full super and didn't use it?
I can't remember the name of it, but yeah, just like that. Except that doesn't give you a damage buff though. It only gives you better regen.
Oh, Hellfire Heart. Yeah. Improves the recharge rate of your solar abilities. Greatly improves the recharge rate while your super is charged. Yeah. Yep. So it's basically a Hellfire Heart for the warlocks, kind of. That's not dependent on solar. That's what it made me think of. Don't use your super. If you hit your super, you can sit here and hold it and then get more damage bonus.
Solar supers are the best supers we have, so why would we not use them?
Right, exactly. If you don't want to throw that well down, you're like, no, this is my well. You don't get to have it.
Now, straight up debuff. Remove the Ophidian aspects have removed the extended melee range. That's it. That's it. According to the devs, the extended melee range created some strange situations where a player's melee lunge would cause them to flicker in high latency scenarios. This exotic still retains really strong neutral game benefit.
That's not it. It's because, warlocks already had extended range, and they don't need to have extra extended range to have their extended range. So that's really what that came down to.
Flicker.
So now, officially, warlocks have no way to get extended range on their melee. To my understanding.
By default, their melees have more range than ours.
Yes, but now they don't have they can't out melee range someone with a regular melee hit.
So warlocks already have double melee range, just full stop, because they use the force, whereas we have to physically hit. So yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, with the warlock melee, like now you can, if you put on any of the melee extending range exotics for the other classes, your melee range, your basic melee range, will extend further than theirs. So now you will out melee range them.
So the warlock's gonna lose a slap fight if it gets into a slap fight.
Yeah,
potentially. Can still hit you with fire or whatever, or lightning, or can still hit you at range, but within arm's reach.
What class has that their uncharged melees are actually faster? Isn't that the warlocks? So they still could win a slap fight.
No, they were supposed to be slower, and then they made them now the same speed.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, I think they need to revert that change, because you have an extended range on your basic melee already. And on top of that, all your melees are projectiles. Why are you able to slap fight just as fast as everybody else? You already have benefits that no one else has. So I think they need to revert that. That change should have never been undone.
The midichlorians are off the scale, Micah. That's why. Stupid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Prometheus Spur grants Rift energy for any solar weapon takedown, with more energy granted for solar weapon takedowns while standing in a rift. Also, you now have to be standing in a rift. You now have to be standing in a rift when you get a final blow for the exotic to consume your class ability energy and create a rift at the target's location. Cool, I think. I don't know how it worked before. That sounds pretty cool. Starfire Protocol. Reduce the amount of energy gained per instance of damage from 20 to 2. Wow. Sorry. Wow. Talk about a nerf.
Well, that's the one that everyone should have seen coming a million miles away.
So again, let me say that again, guys. Hot. Starfire Protocol, reduce the amount of energy gained per instance of damage from 20% to 2.5. You've lost 17.5% energy regen. God,
yeah.
No one should have been surprised by this.
They were doing millions of damage. It's
yeah. This is the hottest thing that should get the biggest hammer. No one should be surprised. You can be angry about it, but no one should be surprised by this.
Now, empowered weapon kills now grant 20% grenade energy. Okay. Dev community. I'm actually happy with the Starfire nerf. Well, what class do you play with, Noble? Dev community. Oh, Starfire Protocol. This exotic has been strong for a very long time, ever since Solar 3.0 dropped and fusion grenades became much more powerful for warlocks. So, as a warlock, you're happy about this nerf? You're gonna need to explain that.
It was busted. It kind of made it was busted. It was busted. It was busted.
So
you stand in the whale with Starfire Protocol and your fusion aids, and you just melt stuff. Like, it made everything pretty much easy mode. If somebody actually played that build in any Nightfall, you would just beast right through it. Like, it was pretty busted.
I mean, I don't mind that. I'm happy because it's all everyone ever wanted and made PvE become really boring. Okay, yeah, so basically what Michael said.
Yeah, when something becomes the go-to, Galahorn or nothing, it becomes monotonous and
They nerfed Galahorn way quicker than they nerfed that.
Well, yeah. Well, sorry, I'm talking about like year one, or sorry, D1, where it was Galahorn or where to kick you out of the raid team.
Yeah, well, I mean,
they even nerfed the freaking Ice Glaive faster than they did that, and the Ice Glaive is still technically broken.
Because remember, warlocks can either be super strong or super weak. They either get mega buffs or super nerfs. Like, there is no middle ground on the warlock. It's either incredible or garbage. That's like whoever's tuning the warlocks. Like, they go to reach for the knob and then sneeze and you just like turn the knob all the way to 12 or to 0. Like, there is no middle ground. They're like, we're just gonna tweak this. Oh no, now it's 57.
It's got one of those. God, I don't know if you remember the old school radios in the cars, or the old school clunkers on the TV, where you turn the knob once and it has
Just a little
a
bit.
clunk, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you couldn't
Yeah.
go in the middle. Yeah.
Yep.
In making these changes, we didn't want to completely rob the exotic of its benefits. No, you just want to make it nearly non-existent. That's all. But right now, Starfire Protocol is one of the best single-target damage boosting exotics in the game. When combined with Witherhorde or Wolfpack rounds with a rocket launcher with Demolitionist, as you essentially get an infinite loop of rockets, double detonating grenades, and it's sucking all the air out of the room. These changes are intended to tamp?
Yeah. Tamp down.
Tamp down on. Well, I learned a new word today. On passive weapon damage, giving your grenades back too quickly. Still, you probably get an extra grenade or two per damage phase. We also pushing it away from single target damage dominance and more towards a neutral gameplay. As with any changes we make, we're going to be watching the data and your feedback carefully and may make additional tuning changes accordingly. We're already working on the next round of exotic armor tuning for future seasons. Now, I'll tell you why this upsets me. Is end-game content, right? More specifically, hard mode Ron. Okay? He is such an enormous pain in the rear to do hard mode Ron, because no matter how much void resistance you put on, and no matter how much concussion resistance you put on, he still one-shots you with those void air slices, right? And they track you. They track you more aggressively than anything in this freaking game tracks you, right? So if one is coming at you, you're going to die, right? So knowing that we're already wasting revives on these stupid purple tracking things, when it comes to damage phase, you usually have 1 to 3 warlocks doing this, so that you can just get it over with, end the damage phase, get it over with, so we can kill Nezarec, right? Well, with this being gone, we have to find a new way to increase the DPS, because you're just not going to have that many revives in hard mode Ron, dude. It's ridiculous. Now, there are people out there that can probably, one-man Ron, and to you, hats off, shut up, right? But for most of us, I'm not the elitist of the elite. I'm high level, don't get me wrong. But even then, if you know for a fact that there's a mechanic in the game that's going to guaranteed kill you no matter what you do, you have to accommodate for that. You know what I mean? And shortening your number of DPS phases and maximizing the damage per DPS phase is the only way you can potentially kill him before you run out of revives. And this was the way to do that. And I really don't know how we're going to replace the fusion grenade warlock rocket launcher combo.
Give it 10 minutes and somebody will say, hey, here's the new meta, and then everybody will run that.
I hope so. I really do, because it's going to be needed.
That's what the entire history of this game is. Something gets changed and then something else comes to prominence.
But honestly, before doing that, Peroty, what I want Bungie to do is I want them to take a look at Nezarec's Void. What the hell is that, Micah? I want them to take a look at Nezarec's Void projectiles, because those should not guarantee one-shot kill you every freaking time. That's ridiculous, man. You can survive him going in the air and crashing down to the ground directly on you. You can still survive that with a little bit of health. But the stupid Void, ultra, super, mega tracking, stupid freaking air slashes are guaranteed to kill you. You can't survive one. It's so dumb. Well, I guess if you have an overshield, but I don't know. Whatever. It's retarded. It's dumb. But now we get to start the TWAB. That was just the exotic armor changes. We didn't even start the TWAB yet, ladies and gents. Yeah, and they track when you're invisible. Thank you, Manoble. Yes, they absolutely track when you're invisible. You can't survive them. It's ridiculous. So this week at Bungie, happy TWAB's Day, Guardians. This week we're back with some Season 21. Well, we'll get into that in a minute. First up, let's get into what we got to talk about last week. Guardian Games began Season of the Deep first look. Prime Gaming loot drops, wallpapers, community movie. As for this week, we have Guardian Games, Season 21 teaser trailer, Season 21 ritual weapon, a closer look at Season 21 armor ornaments, Season 21 environmental sneak peek, reminder that Season 20 ends soon, and our next dungeon is coming, so this is a dungeon DLC, new Eververse updates, and weekly hashtag Destiny 2 movie of the week, and Destiny 2 AOTW? Armor of the week, maybe?
Art of the week.
Art of the week picks, okay. We are now stepping into week 2 of the Guardian games. First up, let's get into the Guardian games. We have been having so much fun watching your clips, running alongside some of you in Supremacy, and seeing the emotes in the tower after you bank your medallions. Keep it up. Current standings for the games. Titans, first place. Warlocks, second. Third place, Hunters. Those participating in the Guardian Games Cup also have been knocking it out of the park with points and raising money for the Bungie Foundation. Over $100,000 has been raised so far. Let's take a look at those standings too. First place, developers. They've raised $38,000. Second place, Lost City Guardians, $6.4 thousand. Third place, Meta Galactic Boomers at $5.3K. And fourth place is Clan Archive at $4.2K. Top 4 teams that have scored so far is Popcorn with $53K, Travelers Chosen at $23K, Nexus at $20K, and Ursidae at $18K. Cool. By the way, Peroty, have you checked out the Bungie rewards page since Guardian Games started? No,
I haven't. I have not. What might I find there?
Well, we do have a few rewards to show you. Those that earn the achievements in the game will be able to purchase some Guardian Games collectibles to commemorate your achievements. First of all, you can get a Guardian Games pendant. You can get a champ title pin. And you can get a 2023 Guardian Games medal. There you go. So get out there, bank those medallions, complete your event challenges, and earn your gold. Head over here to sign up for Bungie Rewards. It's a link. I'm not telling you the link.
The link will be in the show notes as it always is, or just, go to the Bungie reward page and they'll have little buttons there to sign up.
Deputy Commander Sloan, I presume. Season of the Deep is less than 2 weeks away, and we've got more to reveal today. So, Peroty, I have not watched this video, right? Mm-hmm. Season of the Deep, according to the armor and the aesthetics, it looks like we're going to be in the, quote, ocean of Titan, right? So far, that's the vibe I'm getting. What about you, right?
Well, if you'd like to watch the video, it is a Deacon-approved 9 whole seconds. And yes, looks like we're returning to the oceans of Titan. So Titan will exist in more than just a Gambit map and may exist in the game again, and we're going to go swimming.
So I'm wondering if, in fact, we're going to be underwater. And if we are going to be underwater, how will that affect our jumps, our falls, and weapon performance, right? And if we're underwater, does that negate all solar subclasses? Will that make freaking stasis subclasses even stronger? What?
You're thinking too hard about this. You're literally going to be in a fishbowl without water.
Are the waters of Titan actually water? And I would like to redirect you back to D1.
Water. Titan doesn't have water. Titan has.
There was a PvP map in Destiny 1 where you could go outside and have sort of low gravity and things. Mm. So I can basically tell you it's probably going to be that.
Well, Titan doesn't have water. All that liquid on the surface is liquid methane. If I'm wrong, one of the geeks will correct me, I'm sure, but I think it's liquid methane. And methane, as we all know, is highly combustible.
So scorch tax will be increased, is what I'm hearing. Also, you're missing the important big questions. Can I pet the sea monster?
I think we got to fight the gosh dang thing, man.
No,
honestly,
I just want to pet and befriend the sea monster. That's it. That's all I want.
Is that all? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, moving after that, we have ornaments. Get your ornaments. It's that time, Guardians. Time to share Season of the Deep's ritual weapon and its gorgeous ornaments. Looks like we have a scout rifle, Looks a lot like the scout rifle you can get from the dungeon this season. Introducing the Last Right scout rifle. This one's a bit special because it's a Tex Mechanica. Okay, just like I thought. Kinetic aggressive scout rifle. We don't want to spoil too much, but here are the ornaments we have coming up for this baby. Okay. Honestly, the base one kind of looks the best.
Wait, it's a Tex Mechanica scout rifle?
Basically, it's the one you get from the dungeon, it looks like. It might have different roles.
I'm just saying, didn't we already get a Tex Mechanica scout rifle last season?
Yes.
Well, we got two of them. We have the exotic one and we have the legendary one.
No. We just got a Tex Mechanica scout rifle last season, and they gave us a scout rifle for Guardian games. Now they're getting us another scout rifle.
Yes, the long arm is the scout rifle Respawn I'm trying to think of. The long arm is a aggressive frame Tex Mechanica scout rifle.
And then the DMT is the exotic version of it. Yep.
Yeah, the Dead Man's Tale is the same thing. So we're getting another one of those, and it's going to have pretty ornaments, and that'll be a thing you could certainly do.
Bungie's going a little overboard with the scout rifles this past half of a season. Like, seriously, it's been scout rifles here, there, everywhere.
So where's my mega scout rifle buff coming to like?
Exactly. That's what
I know. Like, are they trying to make it a meta? Like, are they really trying to shift it already again?
I hope so. I really want my Jack's throwing knife to be meta again. For real.
Just like
another.
Listen,
I'm sorry, scout rifle and long range.
Anyway,
if you kill champions with scout rifles, at least we'll give you more scout rifles to play with.
So, moving under the sea. Speaking of ornaments, last week we gave you a glimpse into what's coming next season. This week we want to give you a quick preview of the ornament sets that will be available as the Season 21 Season Pass. Get ready to have plenty of options for under the sea themed tea parties. So, the first glimpse I got at the Hunter armor looked like we had a giant heart-shaped puff on our back.
Mm-hmm. This one will tell you why he hates the Hunters.
No. This picture here looks a lot better than the first glimpse we got, right? This Hunter armor I can get behind. The giant heart-shaped jellyfish in the first one, I'm not a fan of. All right? There's a lot going on here. This picture, it doesn't look as bad as the first one. Dude, it looks like we're legit underwater. Like, for real. Look, look at this map right here.
There's bubbles and everything.
Like, yeah, well, not underwater, but under liquid methane. Whatever.
Under the sea. Under the sea.
And we're not kidding when we're saying we're going under the sea. Here's a glimpse of one of the places you'll be heading in the Season of the Deep. Okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so Guild that title, Guardian!
No.
We're down to the final weeks of the season, Guardians. You know what time that means. Time for us to remind you to finish up your season pass, wrap up your weekly challenges, and get your destiny on to finalize your cutscene attire. As much as I want to wear my scorned Baron robes this time around, as I have mentioned before, I really think this time it's going to be different. Maybe. Anyway, make sure you're sharing your Guardians all dressed up for next season with us on Twitter and Instagram. We love seeing them. One more thing. The social team just got yelled at from the other room to not forget to check your engram tracker in your inventory for seasonal vendor engrams you need to pick up.
And that's the social team yelling at us, not getting yelled at. They're yelling at us to go pick up your engrams because, the season is ending and you should have those. And then you can have lots of things you can then break down into shards, which Respawn desperately needs.
Oh my god, you have no idea. Did you know that the dungeon is coming?
I've heard.
Are you one of the Guardians who traversed a space unbound by reality and proved yourself righteous in the realm of the Nine? Maybe you triumphed.
Sometimes.
Maybe you triumphed and your team became the pirate royalty of the Loot Cave.
Mm-mm.
Perhaps it was Callus's realm that you conquered, your fire team fighting through the nightmares one by one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, good. Did the Song of the Seraph Bunker call you instead with Osiris in your ear and your friends by your side? Or were you one of the fearless that have conquered them all solo?
I just really imagine Osiris trying to whisper and put his mouth close to my ear. It creeps me.
That just gave me shivers. Stop it. Well, get your
You know what
Guardians
I
ready
said?
for the next adventure. The new Redacted dungeon opens at 10 a.m. Pacific on Friday, May 26th.
Hooray! That you'll all be able to go to in day one because there's no light level increase. So if you're at light level this season, you're at light level next season. Hooray for you.
Did you know that Eververse recommendations have arrived? I don't even know what that means. Let's find out. One more thing before we hand it over to player support. Eververse is getting an update in Season 21 that showcases items recommended just for you. In addition to continuing to highlight specific items and bundles, the Eververse featured page will also have a shortcut to view certain recommended items that you don't own and might find are a great fit for your character. Not only that, but there will also be a tab where you can view your top 10 recommended items in one place, making it easier to find all of your recommendations at any given time.
We're going to see, Bungie, I have a very specific style that I have been very consistent with for the lifetime of this game. We're going to see just how personalized these recommendations are.
You don't rock the pink seashells anymore, right? You're rocking pink samurai now?
We're going to see if you've been paying attention. Oh, I mean, right now it's springtime faint all the way. Guardian game color, springtime faint. It's not quite hippie blood, but it's close. It's very springtime. It's very lavender. I'm very curious to see what Bungie's recommendation engine is. If it goes, you're a Titan, here's some Titan armor.
Yeah, but I just want to see nothing but pink shaders in your inventory.
Exactly. If I could delete 95% of them, I would. or Bungie, could we maybe search, again, emotes and shaders? Could I search for a name? Could I filter them in some way? Could I say, here are my 10 favorites? Let me put them somewhere. Just, if we could think about improving that system.
Actually, it would be a great idea. If you could select favorites, that way they're always in the beginning. That would be a great idea.
Yeah, because Bungie, to be clear here, I've got like 10 pages of these things. There's like 8 of them that I really want. The rest of them I don't care about and will never use. That's all. Just, that's all I'd ask for. But what Bungie is asking for is a player support report. So the team is back and ready to share that they're working on known issues, which is, I assume, what they've also been working on before now. Now we have Law and Orders. Dun, dun. We had hotfix 705.3 released earlier this week on Tuesday, May 9th. Which is that the day the game went offline? They were like, "Hey, we put a hotfix out. Hey, the game is not gaming so well." So what it did do was they reverted the change that removed the third refraction core in Heist Battlegrounds, and fixed an issue where previously defeated enemies and champions were respawning if you wiped in the Lake of Shadows boss room, thus taking away your, if you had a platinum status, was taking that away because it was respawning enemies you couldn't get back to kill again. And Guardian Games fixes, which I know Mike and Respawn are just super excited about.
Amazing.
Your normal matchmaking for Supremacy, it was missing its description, so you had no idea what you were doing. Fixed an issue where the Heir Apparent, Quest, and Catalyst weren't progressing via most main medallion sources. Just, playing the activity, but it wasn't doing the thing you were playing the activity to do. The Fly the Flag bounty was taking much longer than intended to complete. And the Champ Seal was not able to be gilded. Couldn't do it. Simply not possible. They also fixed an issue where swapping from a slug shotgun to another shotgun could allow a massive damage output. Oh, thank God they fixed that. We hate when that happens. There's now a 2-second window where a weapon cannot be fired after swapping to it from the inventory screen. And they fixed an issue where the Eager Edge Enhanced Edge perk would deactivate earlier than intended. Thank God they fixed all of these terrible things that were plaguing us. But you know what they didn't fix? But they're working on it. They promise.
Everything else?
So some Guardian Games quests are only progressing with bronze medals or medals from the recreational Vanguard playlist. Just some of them, though. The activity that we've done that's like the same one for the last 3 years, some of it's not working. The Wish Ender does not penetrate extended failings or Hydra shields. So the thing that does the damage through things is not actually going through things and doing damage. Some gilded titles are no longer gilded, and the associated triumphs are now marked as incomplete. Some of them, though. The Strand Hunters The Strand Hunter's aspect in Sneering Slam does not trigger some class ability mods. Can't tell you which ones, just some of them. In the Hypernet Current Strike, dying in the final boss arena can cause the player's ghost to become stuck on the floor, making
that
very,
or in a wall or in a
very
rock
difficult. Yeah.
Yep.
Good times. Well, players who are suspended from the control playlist due to quitter penalties will receive a suspended director dialogue for competitive Crucible. These players aren't actually suspended from competitive Crucible and can still access the playlist. They're just suspended from control, which is different, and we can't figure out how to tell you that. So yeah. The Guardian Games competitive Nightfall playlist does not give you any Vanguard rep. Just doesn't. Why would that work? Why would it give you Vanguard rep? No, it doesn't want to. The Guardian Games champ title does not progress any Guardian rank objectives for earning titles. Not a one. The Guardian Games Luminous Paragon Sparrow cannot be obtained from collections. So if you have it, don't delete it. And kills with your Celestial Fire, Scorch, or Ignition effects are not credited as melee solar ability kills. So if you're trying to use your melee solar ability on a Warlock to do that, no, you're not. So that's what's broken. There's more things broken. It's on the list. It's in the show notes. You know where to find it by now, and if not, go to the show notes. It's a lovely link there. And that's what they patched and they broke and they fixed, and that's it. Now we have some lovely art and lovely movies and a mermaid. See, somebody got it. Someone turned the Warlock into a mermaid. Where is my mermaid armor? Come on. Gonna send me underwater. Let me be a ridiculous mermaid. Let's go all the way with this ridiculous nonsense.
See, now that Nezarec looks imposing. That dude's got a 6-pack instead of a keg. That dude, that's a raid boss. Right?
I think he's wearing Siva based armor too.
Yeah. But whatever, man. He's just can't believe
Don't hate on Dad Nezarec, okay?
It's not
easy. It's not easy to raise a family and go to the gym. All right.
I don't care.
Sometimes you're just a weekend, a weekend raider, a weekend warrior, boss, and you only got time to boss on the weekends. You ain't got time to hit the gym too, buddy. Sorry, man.
Yeah, Nezarec's doing his best. He's got a lot of kids to raise.
Yeah, but they didn't even give us the Nezarec with a dad bod. They gave us Chicken Brent with a scythe. Okay?
That's not what Nezarec can do for you. That's what you can do for Nezarec.
Put his ass on a treadmill.
He's atoning for his sins, doing
Quick
his
question:
best.
When will we be addressing for those that may be curious, the class changes? Because we only did the exotics.
Class changes came out on Wednesday, I think, didn't they?
Exotics wasn't class changes the last episode last week.
Yeah, it was.
So that would have been last week's episode.
The class changes this week, I thought.
The ability tuning previews was the 3rd of May. We are now at the 13th of May. So that was last week's episode. Should have been here then.
Yeah, Micah. Stupid.
I'm sorry, I haven't played Destiny. My bad.
Yeah,
just rub that in our face too.
Now, I'm pretty sure Respawn was here last week.
What?
So you could listen to him talk about it. And I'm just ask Respawn, because I'm sure he remembers what happened.
Yeah, I told y'all a couple already, and you're like, would you see that? I'm like, ask a good question. But I know it's a thing. I know it's real.
I read the word on the internet somewhere. We're not sure where these words occurred, but we're pretty sure there are words, and they were read.
Yes, indeed.
Superb.
Peroty, take us away, please.
Well, I'm going to take you away. I'm going to take you away over to YouTube because, there's a YouTube thing. We don't do report roundups anymore because what is there to report or round up? What I am going to tell you, though, is Cool Guy is saying, honestly, this is just 5 minutes of me bashing the Konorok 22, which is, it's 5.5 minutes of him basically being like, this auto rifle is trash. And also, none of the world drops are world dropping. So if you're trying to get world drops or like new seasonal weapons this season, you're not, because they're just not dropping from anywhere. The drop rates are horrible. GMEINERS, Geminers, there'll be a link on the show note. I don't know how to say his name. He is on Respawn side saying you should not ignore the 20% bad juju buff. Shouldn't do it. Bad juju is excellent. Learn it, love it, use it.
Mm-hmm.
Dato's going to tell you that destabilizing rounds are just not it.
Well, hold on.
Not right now, anyway.
Before we go ahead of that, right, does the video talk about what the bad juju does and why it's so good? Not just because of the buff, but it also gives you super. It also gives you stacks, and for every stack you have, it gives you additional damage and additional super recharge. And upon kills, it automatically refills your magazine for you, and it's full auto. So bad juju is definitely a weapon to be looking at for both PvP and PvE. Or whatever I just said. If I just said PvE twice, my bad. But basically both. It's a good weapon for both. Give it a shot.
For both ends of the game.
It won't beat out Outbreak, so probably not.
I'm not trying to beat it out, but it gives you your super back a lot faster than Outbreak does.
But in high level content, doesn't really matter because you're not just running through killing ads constantly. In low level content, sure, it'll be on par.
Freaking trials. Take it into 6v6, bro. Have some fun.
Yeah, but I mean, don't go take it into a Grandmaster. I'm just saying.
I mean, I would.
And that damage buff will be gone before you kill the next enemy.
But you could take it somewhere, and we're telling you to at least try it. It may not be the best thing, but it's a thing. If you, like some of us, maybe are sitting here with your pile of Taraxipos scout rifles and your other pile of titles and going, which of these should I care about? Bontas has some role recommendations. Which of these should you care about and keep or not keep, or delete them all because none of this matters. But you should keep at least one strand scout rifle laying around. I'm sure there's a purpose for it, right? The cool guy also wants to tell you that he has a Perpetualis role that made him put down Rufus's Fury. So if you don't have a Rufus's Fury and you have a Perpetualis and one you can craft, he's got some recommendations on what you might enjoy. Dato has a little bit of lore talking about Season of the Deep, Sloan, and Titan Sea Monster, and I'm sorry, My Name is Bife, not Dato. Those are different people. My Name is Bife has some lore talking about these things, and not a big fan of the underwater. And I am contractually obligated to tell you that Ironworker Gaming put out a full 2023 breakdown with a 25% PvE buff of. Can you guess which weapon respawn?
PvE buff? No idea.
Great business.
What? Oh, Jesus.
Just reminding you that, auto rifles are good and they got the buff. So, I mean, I'm required to tell you that a man made a full video telling you about the sweet business in PvE. And PvP, he takes it into Supremacy and has some good fun with it. So again, I know that people know, but I'm required to tell them whenever there's a new video. It's part of the contract. We don't get into details.
Fair enough.
And I'm also required to tell you that we love our patrons. We love them. We love that they've gone to patreon.com/TTH and said, we appreciate what you do, and here's some money to do it. Zep Orbit, you cannot threaten that man with a good time. We've tried. We've sent Respawn to his house. We sent dogs after him. He cannot be threatened. It can't be done. Our Otter Dance Troupe, who may or may not be hearing us on Twitch, it's hard to say. The T-Rex King, Dedicated Away M64, the Scarlet KM, and BHS Nightcrawler, they're there, dancing their hearts out, avoiding the grenades that are being thrown by Carter 2782, We Noble, Golden God 1562, basically Salt, basically an ACL, Zombie Pops, Renard Calant, and Mellow Mally, who has joined our grenade throwing brigade. And here's one Respawn will enjoy. Deacon gives her approval very, very. You have to work hard to gain her approval. You really have to get into her good side. And PP Pipe, Lord Master Chaos, Dimweed, the Drifter's Driftwood, Hate Quest, and the Guardian Downcast all received Deacon's approval.
Nice.
So, hey guys, we see you. We appreciate you out there. And we appreciate you and all of our lovely patrons. And really, I feel like I should also tell you, Guardian Downcast, excellent show. Go give Gator and Hazel some love. They deserve it.
And ask them what happened with the whole 1v1 with Respawn. They loved that conversation.
It's their favorite.
Indeed.
And it's my favorite thing to say thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Nitedemon, who has been drug away by the king this week. So we've decided to have Mr. Are you still going by Apache Helicopter Kitten, or have you changed your name this week?
I identify as something totally different. I just haven't decided what yet. So,
okay, so Micah, who goes by many names and has many opinions of the PvP, he's here to be our other Titan to keep our contractual 2 Titans and a Hunter moniker up. Your Hunter, as always, is no one Respawn to real life. our lore scribe, we've lost somewhere in the deep. Maybe he drowned. I don't know. We'll see what we find when we get down there.
Monster on Titan ate him.
Yep. You can email the show at 2titansandahunter@hotmail.com. We're on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere that you can find us. 2 Titans and a Hunter. Just, again, type the name into a search field. You'll find the podcast. You'll find all the other great shows. You find the best hub on the net. You'll find the Downcast. You'll find some thumbs made of potatoes. You'll find all sorts of good things. You can follow the show on YouTube for every new episode. And also, the man, the machine, the legend, Nitedemon puts out many, many weekly update videos. What's going on this week? What's going on next week? What shaders can I get from Shada 1? He has it all there. 2 Titans and a Hunter on the lovely YouTubes. And if you'd like to join our wonderful Patreons and dance, throw grenades, threaten with good times, like the lovely human beings we just mentioned, patreon.com/TTAH, or just toss some dollars in our direction, coffee.com, ko-fi.com/2 Titans and a Hunter. And if you want the thrill of Respawn in your life, the Florida man himself, twitch.tv/no one respawns in real life, for a live train wrecky version of the show and whatever else he wants to play. Hit the bell. You'll be notified every time he goes live, and then you can tell him the audio is good, the audio is bad, or you don't know what you're doing and there is no audio. It's exciting each and every week.
Because it's muted.
Someone has to help him. You could be that someone.
A little bit, yeah.
And if you live over in the lovely English continent, or just don't want to deal with us Americans, twitch.tv/2 Titans and a Hunter is where Nitedemon streams. God, words are hard today.
A little bit.
Twitch.tv/2 Titans and a Hunter is where Nitedemon hangs out and streams. He streams, early in the morning for those of us in America land, and less early in the morning for those of you in European land. So go there, hit the buttons, follow them. They'll tell you when they're streaming, and thank you as always for joining us, and we'll see you next week with some possibly new configuration of 3 human beings talking about Destiny. There's no way to know who or what. Respawn, Micah, and any closing thoughts to give the people? Great pearls of wisdom to tide them over?
I like cake.
Yeah.
Oh, I've got pie in the fridge.
2 Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast.
And Respawn has no desserts at all. Sad for you.
No, I don't. I have some Chick-fil-A though.
That's not a dessert. Partial credit only.
I heard chicken fill you up.
Okay, bye guys.
Nitedemon, this is our gift to you. Enjoy.